What is up, ladies and gents? We're going to talk about the game engine I've been working on, slash game I've been working on. I guess it's more of a game engine than a game, but I intend to make a game, so don't you worry. Oh, yes, Ancient Archer. It's still going on. Don't give up. I haven't. Okay, I've been working on this on stream a lot. For like a whole week, I was getting up at like 4:30 in the morning, like Jocko Willick, but instead of working out, I would go work out my fingers on the keyboard. Yeah, true story. So I made a Trello board for it, and check this bad boy out. What is my green screen doing? Stop it, green screen. Just, okay, whatever. Okay. Yeah, I knocked out a lot of stuff. I made it a more standard engine where, yeah, I made the includes like everybody else does their includes with open source libraries. I worked up the lights. I synchronized the shaders some, which I will show you in a second. And I've basically been sorting out some bugs, or trying. And I have a whole bunch of stretch goals over here for things I'd like to get done. Actually, this Fong lighting, kablam, kablam. There's a little more to it than this, because right now it only does the specular lighting as a flat Vec 3, not a texture. So it could have improvements on it. This is like basic Fong lighting, but hey, we're gonna call it probably done. So I got a lot of stuff to do. As you know, I'm working on a series with OpenGL and teaching you guys all about shaders and stuff. And at the same time, I'm implementing it in my project. So pretty cool thing because not only do I get to implement it, but I get to teach it at the same time, which helps it stick in your memory. All right, let's check out the project. Let's see how it's doing. All right, so let's check this bad boy out. So yeah, big thing I did. Actually, let's just look at it in a folder view because that makes a little more sense. So a big thing you're supposed to do, in case you don't know, and I might make a video on this topic on its own, but if you're making a library, because that's all this essentially is a library that you can just go, you can include and link to your project, and you can start using all this functionality, which is just like graphics and sound and a bunch of game stuff basically interested. So yeah, under the main include, there's another folder with the name of the project because that's how you're supposed to do it, and then the only header you need to include. I used to have this as a singleton class, which really made no sense, and I was just doing it to do it, I guess, because I honestly don't know why I was doing it. I was just playing around. So now it's just a flat structure of all the stuff in a namespace, and yeah, there's all the header functions. We can go look at them. And I've just been sorting it out and organizing it. It's, I don't know, let's just run what we got here. So I made a little demo project that is included on this branch. And all it does is, let's start from the top, and initialize the engine. And then it creates a camera with the height and width that's the same as our screen, because that makes sense. We set first person controls, which this could be a whole block of code, but I just put it in a header to get it out of the way. But essentially could copy and paste this right into here. It just sets up FPS controls for the mouse and keyboard. And then we load up a skybox right there. I want to change that. It needs to be better, but it works for now. And then I load up some sounds. Sound effects and music all seems to work. It's not perfect, but it works. It works good enough. And then I load up a bunch of models that I got from Mixamo. Had enough of this green screen. Stop it. We're going to 92. 102? How high do I need to go up to make you stop showing the background? Okay, 112 looks pretty good. All right, that's better. That's already better. Now it's just going to get things that aren't even green because it's so high on the matching thing. All right, and then we also move the objects around a little bit just so they're not all stacked at the starting location, and rotate them a little bit. And then I add a spotlight. I was playing around with lights a lot and getting lights to work. And I made like the shaders that are built into this like automatic, so you don't have to like manually load up shaders. Basically, when you load up an object, you now say whether it is lit or not, this last thing. So if it's false, you're just going to get diffused. If it's true, you're going to get all the lighting, and it'll just automatically work. You can have things that are lit and not lit within your scene, because maybe some UI things you don't want to consider the light, you just always want them to be lit up or something. So that was kind of the intention, but it's a little better. I'm still thinking of other ways to make it even better, but it's a little better than it used to be. So it's moving forward. So yeah, there's a spotlight, there's a point light, there's directional light, and they all have a handle. That's what these integers are here. And they're static, so we can access them within our lambdas that we create to add to the functionality. Because the way this engine works, in case you don't know, is initialize it, you add stuff to it, and then before you run, which is way at the bottom here, and I guess you can do it while it's running too, but before you run, you add to these update functions. There's a bunch of update functions that have different ways of working. Like there's a delta update, and you have to make a lambda that passes in a float, which is the delta time. So that way anything in the delta time you can move with delta time considered. And for example, we have a little flashlight on. I guess this doesn't use delta time, so this should actually not be in here. Just notice that. So I could just add it to the normal update, but it's fine in the delta update. It's not going to hurt anything. So if your flashlight is on, and I have a hotkey down below to turn it on and off. If it's on, it moves with the player. If it's off, it just doesn't do it. So there's that. And I think I just have some math here to move the other lights around so you could actually tell what was going on. However, I commented them out, so it's kind of pointless to have all this math in here now. So whatever, it's just a big test. It's just a big test file, this project one. So if we look at it, I know I'm jumping around a lot here, but it's just the way my brain works sometimes. So if we look at this and go to like directories, you see that I've included the Ancient Archer engine and then include here. So that way we just, we can do this sort of thing and get it all in there. So that's all you need to do. If you clone this, the main core engine part, all you literally do is go file, or well, I guess we would do it up here. You just go add, do project, whatever you want to call it. Let's do empty project, project 3, sure, why not? Actually, you right click, go to references or add reference, and just reference the engine there. That'll handle all the linking, and then you can also go to properties, and well, you can manually path to the include, but you want to make sure this is all, and then here you would say, yeah, solution or whatever the path is to AI engine. So AI engine, include, and that's it. And this is ready to use. We can now make a new source file, add new item, source file, sure, and boom, we can just start going. So that is like the standard way to use it right now, until further improvements. Now, this wouldn't be that hard for me to like port to Linux or other OSs, or not use Visual Studio, or for me to make it so it works with other build systems. But this thing is changing so frequently right now that if every time I made like a semi-major change, I had to also redo the build systems, it would just be a giant pain. So that's why I'm just sticking with Visual Studio. And once it's like closer to finalized, or there's versions being released, then I might consider, hey, just use CMake and generate for whatever you want. But yeah, I'm just kind of putting that on the back burner, because the great thing about Visual Studio, for all its many flaws, is well, it kind of automatically manages all your build stuff, so you don't have to worry about it, and you can just keep coding. And that's kind of what I want to do. I want to get all the code sorted out, all the libraries. It also kind of does the libraries automatically if you're using VC, PKG, VC Package Manager. So that's really nice too. Rather than have to manually go set up the libraries and build them and link them, you can just use VC PKG. And I have a video on that, which I'll try to remember to throw a link up there in case you don't know how to use that. But it is like the best, most simple way to pretty much get any library sorted out and set up on your computer. It takes like seconds compared to every other method. And then, yeah, you can just start using it however you want. You can just start using the engine. All you really have to do is initialize it with init engine, and you can just, well, I guess we could go straight to run, honestly, and it wouldn't do much. Like, let's go ahead and run this. So you want to have a bunch of stuff in between of adding things and setting to the update functions and stuff, which we'll go back to in a sec. But just want to make it clear that it's like literally this easy to use and start a new project with. And yeah, that's just a blank purple screen because that's the default, but you can do whatever you want with it. So let's go back to project 1, because that's the one that has all my demo stuff. I don't know how much you guys would rather see maybe the back end of stuff, or how much it's how to use it. I guess from like a kind of imagining from someone watching perspective, you'd rather see how to use it rather than like what's going on behind the scenes. So there's the delta update, there's the add to key handling, which takes the keyboard input by reference, and you basically just check if whatever button you want, or mouse button, and you can have it do stuff. You can see I have something on mouse button 1, it plays the sound, mouse button 2 plays the sound, pressing minus changes the volume, equals changes the volume, U gets a plain state. I don't know if I need that. A lot of this stuff is, like I said, it's just test. This is not a great example of a game. It's just like examples. This is just me testing things as I add them and making sure they work and stuff. And then timed out key handling, another version of the key handling. This one has a timeout. You can actually change the timeout. You can go, I think it's set timeout, or I don't know, it's somewhere in there. Set time. There's a set keyboard timeout length. There's also a slow update, which that's the function that just came up there. Set slow update timeout length. because there's an add to slow update, which only updates like every half second or whatever you set it to. So if you don't need something to check every single frame, every single update, then you can set things to update only every once in a while with that function. So it's just a way to save on performance for things that can suffer from a delay without any problem. But the timed out keyboard, basically any time it returns false, then it doesn't start a timeout. If it returns true, which you're supposed to do on a successful key press, if it successfully activates whatever you're trying to activate, you're supposed to return true, and then it sets a timeout where you can't press it again, kind of like a cooldown. It's a bit janky, and I guess I haven't. These actually shouldn't be here because they're not timed out. They should be up in this one. So yeah, usually when I'm working on this particular file that I'm showing you, I'm just like doing it as quick as possible because I don't care. I just want to see if whatever I'm working on is actually working properly, like whatever I'm working on in the engine. I want to see if I can implement it and get it to work properly. So this is totally a test, big old test. There's turning the flashlight on and off. It's on a timeout. Because some things, if they're not on a timeout and you press the button once, it gets spammed like 1,000,000 times per second and it just weird stuff happens. So that's why these timeouts are nice. There's some other stuff to change a light color. What this does, pressing N, toggle point light, and then we run. And you see, I did have an add to slow update the play buffer, because when you're playing music, you have to update the buffers every once in a while, and that works fine with the slow update because you don't need to do it every frame, just every once in a while. So let's go ahead and run this. I'll show you what this looks like with some models and sounds and stuff. There it is. There's a bunch of lights. You can't really tell where the lights are coming from, but I can toggle that directional light off. I can toggle the point light off. And now all I've got is a spotlight on my camera. Background is not considering the light since it's a skybox, so I should probably close it off or turn it off if we really want to get a better idea. Because like as you can see, there's some specular lighting on these guys, at least a little. But if I turn it completely off, they go completely dark because there's no lights. Turn on the directional light here, which is like the sunlight. You can see they light up some. Turn the point light back on. There's a point light like right in the center here that's really bright. So that's what that is. But yeah, big old test. So that's where the engine's at right now. I guess the next big phase, I might have a little bug there with the shininess. I need to check that. Okay, well, the next big phase here, since I've got some of the lighting and stuff like kind of sorted out, and it's not too bad, I mean, it could be better, is probably the animations. Once I get some animations going, I'll actually feel pretty comfortable making a game. So I could make like a static game. I could make like, I don't know, Tetris or anything that doesn't involve like animating characters would work pretty well in here right now. But as soon as you get to starting to animate stuff with like, you know, your whole animation graph, that's not in here yet. And that's like a really big thing I want to add before I start making a game. And you can see a whole list of other things. So it's a work in progress. It's a very, I don't know, I'm plugging away at it. I do want to hire someone. I do have an open position to work on this. So if you're interested in working on game engines and developing something new and unique and think you could help out with this, feel free to hit me up. Or if you're just bored, you're welcome to work on this off of GitHub too. It's on there. It's open source. And even if you're not interested in any of that and you just think it's cool, go give it a star on GitHub. It does help its visibility and it helps it advance. So links down below. Also consider becoming a Patreon of this channel to help this channel out. There's also a Discord, so if you have a lot of questions about this coding stuff or whatever it may be, or you just want to talk to more coders, jump on the Discord. Alright, well thanks for watching. That's where Ancient Archer is at these days. I guess the last thing I should probably mention is this. If you look at it on GitHub, the branch I'm working on is called Isolation 2. It's way ahead of Master. It's got all this new stuff. So all these old branches are pretty old versions at this point. The one I was just showing you is Isolation 2, so keep that in mind as well if you're looking at it here and not seeing the stuff. But yeah, there it is. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys soon, real soon. Peace out.